Hello everybody, this is April and I am going to be talking to you about the basic tools you will need to start making jewelry. The first thing before you start making jewelry, you're going to need a few basic tools, and then I'll show you some additional tools that are helpful. The first tool is something to cut your thread or your wire or whatever. So a cutter. You will need a pair of round nose pliers, and if you look, they're round circle. Each side is round. And you will need a pair of straight nose pliers. If you see, they're straight nose. They look like a square. Something else I bought, you don't have to have, but depending on what kind of beading you're doing, these are bent nose pliers. Now you can get them at the craft store. Use your coupons at the craft stores. These are really nice if you're when you're opening jump rings. I got a smaller pair as well. These are really nice too if you when you're opening jump rings. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, Michaels, AC Moore, and I believe you can even get them at Walmart as well. Here is a beading awl. This is if you have a bead that the hole hasn't been already poked through all the way, and that seems to happen with beads at your local craft stores. So definitely, and it is kind of rough, so it'll help you go through. But be careful with this thing, because if you're not careful, you can break the bead if you push it too hard. So be careful. The next thing you'll need is a crimping tool. If you're doing stringing, bead stringing, this is a crimping tool. And I will set up a series on how to crimp, what size crimps to use, and so on and so on. But I love this thing. The next other tools, I have a longer flat nose pliers. They're just skinnier up top, so if you like it smaller up top, you'll do good with that. You definitely need some kind of a beading mat. This is like a microfiber, sort of like. I bought it at my local craft store, and I just cut it up. They usually look like this. And you're going to need something to put your beads in. I've gotten this also at your local craft store, where you could I always forget about this. When you're putting the beads back and they're small enough, you could just dump them back in the bag or whatever you keep your beads in. But if they're large beads, you know they're not going to go through here. So, and this is nice when you're going and sitting next to the couch. If you are doing just bead stringing, you are going to need some beading thread. This is 49 strand beading thread that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's 0.18 inches by 0.46 millimeters. It looks like it takes a 1-inch crimp cap and then a 2 beading crimp. I'll explain more later on, but basically this is a 49 strand. This 49 strand, there's 49 little strands that make up this one strand of, you probably can't see it, of string. And it's very, very flexible. I like the 49 strand because it's very durable. And, you know, you need something else. You need a measuring tape. I have this little guy that I use as well. Now, and here's something to keep your little beads in. You can keep it in separate, something like this. Either A, to scoop them up, or B, to just keep them in there. Or you can keep them something like this, which you can get these guys at the Dollar Tree for, what was it, 10 for $1 in a pack. They're really nice. And the lids fit really nice on them. So, if you're bead stringing, you will need some size 10 or 12 beading needles. Now remember, beading needles are not the same as sewing needles. Beading needles go into the small teeny beads easier. You can't buy a sewing needle, and 9 times out of 10 they're not going to go into the beads. That's for bead weaving, which we'll talk more about that later. And this is some Fireline, and we'll talk more about that later too. But when you first start beading, I would first get some of your materials together. I would first start with bead stringing instead of bead weaving. And I will explain in a later what's the difference between bead stringing and bead weaving. So I will explain a little bit in details in the next video I do. So I know this is a lot to take in, but to me the main 3 tools I would make sure I had was a pair of nippers, zippers, cutters, flat nose pliers, and round nose pliers. Now your husband probably has this in his, something similar to these in his toolbox. He may not, but they're going to be a lot bigger and bulkier. So, just to let you know. Okay, I just wanted to start with the beginnings of what you're going to need to start making jewelry. So, okay, so, thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see when my upcoming videos will be coming out. I believe my next video will be to start to know the difference between stringing and the difference between weaving. And I will show you the difference between either or. So, okay, well, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.